Bob LAZAR, When Flying Saucers Meet Matter and Collide with Objects. The first book that analyzed the physics of the Bob LAZAR story was published on Amazon and Google in 2022, Beyond Cutting Edge with Bob LAZAR, and it is merged with Time Matters as well, 30+ years after Bob and George Knapp leaked this story to the public. Why did it take so long? Because same physics that solved Bob LAZAR, Frozen Candle, has debunked Big Bang and solved Hubble's redshift. The same physics that solved Bob LAZAR, gravity and strong force, has debunked dark matter and solved Vera Rubin's puzzle about spiral galaxies and our Milky Way, and so forth. Confirming Bob LAZAR's story equals debunking dark science. 30+ years delay is no wonder compared to the 100-year period of dark matter, dark energy, black holes, and Big Bang. The book misses an explanation on what happens when the craft meets an obstacle on its way, even such obstacles as fluids like water or gases like air. But all pieces of physics that are in the book can be reused to answer this question. In Bob LAZAR, Invisibile Craft and Radio Communication, we explored heart-shaped time dilation zone around the craft. Craft. Bob explained that craft is invisible to an observer standing under the heart. It is because of refraction and reflection explained in Frozen Candle story. Light from, or reflected from, the craft bounces back over the lower part of the heart, but it can still get out through the heart's upper side. Can a beam of light shine from under the heart reach the orange craft? No. Why? If we were able to draw a light line/beam, starting from under the heart, then after the initial refraction at the heart wall and after several bounces over the heart walls, and it reaches the orange craft, then by the same but traverse back trajectory light from the craft can go backward and get out through the bottom of the heart. And that does not happen because the craft is invisible from below. Bob described the craft tilts to its side and moves in the direction where to the sharp end of the heart points, so if rotate the picture to its side, craft move looks like in the picture below. Now, what can we say about light, or about some object, air or water coming from the direction where to the craft moves? About light we already know. Light from the heart bottom won't reach the craft. That means nobody in the craft can look forward in the direction of the travel, blindfolded travel, right? Yes, but it depends on time dilation rate d, how much time inside the heart is slower than outside the heart. Let's do some recap on that factor d of time dilation. In my book this factor d is often denoted as 1 plus z, where z is so-called redshift. But here we will be talking about d. For example, d equals 1 or z equals 0 means no time dilation and no redshift. For us it is important that refraction index by Snell's law is the same d. That was proved in first chapter of my book. In Simple Quantum Explanation of Gravity Without Mass or Math, chapter 18 of the book, we discussed that gravity is caused by time dilation, and time dilation around the Earth is about 1 billionth, z value or difference between d and 1 is about 1 billionth, but to counter the Earth gravity even 1 trillionth rate for time dilation will be enough, because time dilation at several meters above the Earth and on the Earth differ at less than trillionth rate. If the craft is still visible from the sharp end of the heart, then there is almost no refraction, meaning d is very close to 1, so light and objects from the bottom of the heart still can reach/hit the craft. But when craft becomes invisible from the bottom, then refraction index d, and time dilation, is a big number. We already know what happens to a light beam when it crosses the border of highly dilated time. Now to the question, what happens to an object crossing that border between, I call them, time zones? Object, on crossing the border, will get a very significant speed boost. Details are in chapter 2 of the book, in the direction perpendicular to the time zone's border, basically in the same direction where light is refracted to. That boost value is 2z plus z2, 2 plus 2z plus z2, c, where c is the speed of light, or if rewrite it using d term, boost equals c2c/d2 plus 1. That is very close to the speed of light for big D values, only for d equals 1, when no time dilation, boost equals 0. Thus, the object will move almost by the same trajectory as the light beam when entering the heart time zone from the bottom of the heart, and like the light beam it will miss the orange craft, and once it leaves the heart area it will get the same value negative boost, loses the gain speed, so it comes out of the heart area at a speed close to the original equals 0. That explains lack of sonic boom even if the craft moves at supersonic speed in the atmosphere, and explains no significant splashes observed when it enters water. But there is more to it. For significant D values, which is the case we are looking at. 1. Any object will be destroyed when entering the heart zone. 2. Air or water streams do not collide or whirl much inside the heart, otherwise these whirlpools hit the craft. 1. Part of an object on entering a slow time zone is boosted significantly in speed, and that boost will rip off that part from the rest of the object that is still outside the slow time zone, because of inertia of the rest of the object. And the following few bounces of the object parts against the heart walls will finish whatever is left of the object. The only question remains, is it ripped apart to dust, at molecular or atomic level? My guess would be it is ripped apart to the atoms, because ties between atoms are weak, compared to the ripping force source, but I presume such tests were conducted in Area 51. Bob mentioned a craft in a hangar with a hole damage in it. 2. It seems that air or water streams coming through opposite sides of the heart should mix inside and hit the craft. But inside the heart speed of air or water molecules, or atoms into which they are ripped apart, increases dramatically, close to C, so these streams become discrete flows. Molecules/atoms ripped at the border are enormously accelerated and separated from the following molecules/atoms. Most of them, molecules or atoms, miss collisions, and few of them, which do collide, basically exchange momentums, places. Thus, such streams blend in a discrete manner, and become continuous flow of atoms or molecules only after exiting the heart area. And on exit their speed is back close to 0, because the boost is lost when crossing the border out. By the way, the closer discrete beams pass to the red dots in the picture above, red marked are the centers of spheres or of the donuts forming the top of the heart. Heart, the more chances for the beams to get out. By Snell's law, the closer beam to a border perpendicular, which is radius, the better chances for it to refract/cross the border, rather than get reflected/bounce back. I wonder if the energy of the craft is enough to travel through and what wall, by evaporating it into dust of atoms as we discussed above. Check Bob LAZAR, Joules and Energy Conservation, Chapter 20 of the book, on E equals mc2d2, which is Einsteinian E equals mc2 with time dilation accounted for the energy trapped/canned inside half a pound of element 115 fuel described by Bob. D in this case is not time dilation around the craft, that can vary. D in this case is dilation of the time whenever/wherever these element atoms were created in comparison to our time. Time in the universe was very slow then and it tends only to speed up. That is explained in my book as well. Very slow time inside these atoms gives them stability, versus synthesized in our time moscovium, which is radioactive/unstable, and that provides D2 factored astronomical amounts of energy. P.S. Having such an engine and 500 pounds, per Bob LAZAR, of such fuel a boring company could build/evaporate through dozens Eurotunnels and a space company could put thousands of satellites on Earth orbit without even breaking sweat and without burning million tons of fossil fuels. I would wonder how much and what for it is used, and who decides on that.